Sally Ann on the sofa with Diva, practically introducing herself, and Joshua. How are you going, everyone? Welcome. And welcome.
Thank you.
Live interview. How
Do you
you
want me to
feeling?
say my last name?
You say it. Yes.
So it's Joshua Peauafi, so Peauafi.
Joshua Peauafi.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. Now, why are you standing for election?
I'm standing for a citywide position.
Yep.
Mainly because I used to work at council, so
Yes.
I got my first job there when I was 18 at the Nana Library.
Nice.
So I've actually worked in every single library across Hutt City at some point. And then I got a job at a youth service provider, so Vibe in the Hutt Valley. And then I got another job at a Hutt City Council, and I was a youth development facilitator. That in itself, I recognise that New Zealand has the highest suicide rate of a developed country, and at risk are Māori youth, so they're the most likely to commit suicide.
Yep.
And then again, at risk again is tāne, so young Māori male are the most likely to commit suicide.
And then males across the board. Like, this is a...
They're the most at risk, yeah.
New
But
Zealand.
Māori male
Yes.
are the highest.
That's terrifying.
But also they've got the highest incarceration rate. So
Okay.
something's going on there where it's not being addressed in terms of cultural inclusion and response to that. But then if you look at the council table, cultural diversity is bleak. Is bleak. So yeah. So one of my big points is there's no Pacifica representation on there at all. And there's been one representative elected ever. So Ken Laban.
Yes.
So he's the only ever Pacifica, Fijian, Samoan, Tongan. He's the only Pacifica person ever elected. And there's been no Tongans ever elected onto council.
Okay. This needs to change. Lower Hutt, get voting.
Yeah, for sure. And this year, is the candidates are more diverse than the elected council members.
That is a really good point.
They are. Yeah. It's true.
Good. Okay, so you look young, but what I'm hearing is that you have a lot of experience working in and around council and also in and around the city.
So I was in the community development team.
Yes.
And I've been working since I was 16. I have done a lot. My background is in Pacific community development. So I studied at Victoria University. So I hold a Bachelor of Arts in Pacific Studies and Media Studies. But that's just a part of what I do. So I'm a registered supervisor. So that means I can do kind of like supervision. It's kind of like talking to the youth worker or social worker to kind of make sure they're okay as well.
Great.
So I can offer that service as well.
Brilliant. Okay,
That's
good.
cool to do that for people.
Yeah. Now, do you have a signature dance move?
Oh, I don't have one, but my wife has one.
That's disappointing.
So I usually just copy hers.
Okay, what's hers?
So she usually just goes like this,
Oh,
and then
nice.
she does this like odd body contortion roll thing.
Oh, okay.
She's got it at it suits her. Doesn't necessarily suit me.
No, but
No,
okay.
but it's hers, so I just steal it.
Fair enough. That's what husbands and wives do. They steal each other's cool moves. Fair
Yeah.
enough. For you, what do you see as the number one issue? I mean, we've talked a little bit about suicide. I mean, that's a nationwide problem. It's not just Lower Hutt. But so what's a Lower Hutt's issue that you really want to sink your teeth into if elected?
I mean, there's a lot of popular topics going around there, which you can probably look on.
That everyone's putting lip service to. Let's face it.
Yeah, so everyone's
Yeah.
got all this. Recycling's one, homelessness is another. I could probably just list off the main four that everyone's got. For me, if we're going to talk about sustainability and we're going to talk about environmental,
Which on this couch, we are.
yes,
Yeah.
I actually my stance is I think we need to take a step back, and I think we need to make sure everybody in our community understands what that means. So what I mean by that is recycling and environmentally friendly products has become socially a very 1% kind of ideal. So when we talk about climate change, are we 100% certain in our heart that everyone in our community has access to that information and to those changes? I don't know if that's true. So if we were, the people I've been going to talk to, if I talk about, zero waste living, that's not necessarily a conversation had in every single household. So I think we need to take a step back, and I think we need to look at how do we engage with every person in our community so we can all be on the same page.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to put through an implementation for something that is not necessarily going to work for all of our communities. It's not going to happen.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Do you have a party trick? Or are you still stealing your wife's stuff?
No, I mean, apart from being a party trick, I can do bird noises. So, yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask to hear one.
Do you want? So I can usually I'll just sit here and I'll give you a bird noise. So,
Okay.
I'll blow.
That's really good.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. Was there any particular bird that I should have recognised?
No, it's usually, that was probably like a tui, so like, yeah, and then there's the other ones that you could get, more porks. We have those at our house.
Yes.
Do you have more porks?
Oh, do we have them? Yeah, we have a family of
Yeah.
pork. Yeah, we do. Love them.
They are getting louder and louder, which is a good sign.
Yeah. Well, do you know they have about 5 different calls? So we all know the more pork call, but they also have this really high-pitched screech they
like
use when
yeah.
hunting. You will know
Yeah.
it because you hear it at your house. It's very loud and
sometimes
very scary.
can use it for a possum, like screech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they vocalise a lot. And then we've been really lucky where we are. There's a lot of bush, and every now and then we'll have a mama teaching her baby and it is the funniest thing. And they sound, of course, the babies, they're just like teens, you know, they just chit-chat, 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 chit-chat. Yeah.
They're trying.
Yeah,
They're trying.
they are. It's really, really sweet. Moving on, what are 2 actions that you would commit to protect or restore nature in the Hutt Valley?
So for me, I think we need to look at, again, the initiatives and the process around making sure we have a co-designed, a co-designed program is where we take in different community stakeholders and we actually design a initiative together. So it's not just council doing it for community members, and it's not just
Or
community members doing
telling
it.
the community what's going to happen.
So it's a reciprocal approach.
Nice.
So that's where we've said, you engage this way, Sweet will respond this way. So it's listening and then implementing action. I think that's one thing that we would need to do. And then I also think if we can push that in schools more, in terms of across the whole Hutt Valley, and make sure that when we're investing into our young people, they can go home and become the teacher, and they can be leading that charge for an environmentally friendly household from a younger generation.
Do you know, I believe I went to one of the council meetings on waste, and what I noticed in that room, and I don't know if it was the age of the people sitting around the table or what, but I hear young people talk more about environmental issues than I did the people in that room. And how the decisions that the decision makers are making affect the planet and the air and the waters. And I was gobsmacked. I was ashamed. I stood up and told them all off. I was like, children in school talk more about the environment and the impacts that we have on it than you are right now.
Our young people, our rangatahi, and even our tamariki, our younger ones, are very clued on about that kind of stuff, and they are very quick to action. Which is, if we look to them actually for some initiatives in terms of innovation approaches, I've seen some of the young people I look after, a part of my job, the products and the services they're creating are amazing and they are innovative. So if we can kind of draw on our whole community, not just a certain amount, and then we can kind of look at what everyone's got to offer, we'll be actually in a more innovative space to address those issues.
Yes, that's what we want. Who gets your vote for Bird of the Year?
I mean, Bird of the Year. I'm still, all birds. Yeah, they do a show every year in kind of reference to the Bird of the Year.
Yeah, they sponsor it, I think.
Yes, yeah. So they did. Last year they did the Kiridu, I think, won.
It did win it.
I like
Chunky Boy.
Yeah, I like the albatross.
Okay.
Or the little blackbird. So like either one or the other.
Okay.
The very big or very small.
Yeah.
But I think I do like the albatross.
Quite majestic. Have you been down to the colony?
Yes. Yeah.
It's magical, right?
I don't know how they fly. I mean, they just kind of glide.
Yeah.
They're like a plane.
They are. They're beautiful. What specific actions by council do you support to combat the climate crisis?
I think we've declared a climate crisis, which is great.
We've declared it. Yeah.
They've done it, but I'm not sure where that goes. Like, that's awesome that's gone through. But at the moment it's just kind of words. So what are we actually going to be doing? Are we going to be looking overseas in terms of what other developing countries have done? I think New Zealand's behind, and I think Lower Hutt...
it's even behind her. Is that a word?
Behind her. More behind? I think Lower Hutt in itself is an innovative city, and I think if we actually look at investing in ourselves, the profit outcome won't necessarily be monetary, but in the future, in the long term, it'll pay off because we'll be trying to not play catch up in terms of paying to fix the problems that we could have solved.
I do think too we need to recognise that money isn't the only thing with value, and we need to put value in places like the environment. Having a clean river is a value. Having clean air is a value. Having healthy soil is a value. And
Totally.
to have the opposite of that is a detrimental cost.
Not just money, yeah.
Well, then it becomes monetary.
Once it's a problem.
Yes, exactly. Because the cleanup costs, like Fox River, the cleanup cost down there ran into the billions. I think it was terrifying. So let's not do things to undermine those ecological values. Anyway, now I'm interviewing myself. I apologise.
No, but it does make sense if we can kind of create a platform now that's stable in terms of addressing those environmental issues and trying to save them now, then in the future, 10 years, 20 years from now, we'll be at a better place, so we won't have to fork out as much money to try and fix the problems we could have solved now. Yeah,
or don't make the problems in the first place.
For sure.
Make better decisions. What song can you not resist dancing to?
I think like Outcast Heya, that's a banger. Yeah. That is so good. Yeah, that's a good one. If that comes on, I'm just like, taken back to school.
I'm all like, lend me some sugar.
I am the neighbour. Everyone knows that line.
I know.
They shake it like a Polaroid. Yeah, that line.
Which apparently you're not even supposed to shake them. So.
No, apparently it's bad.
Yeah. Oh well. Hey, rule breakers. How do you plan to better involve residents in the decision-making process in our city?
I think for the council now, elected council, I think engagement has been something which needs to be improved. My politically correct answer would be improved. Yours is...
I'm allowed to do that, yeah.
So I think if we look around the table, if there's not necessarily a lot of difference and not necessarily a lot of diversity, that in itself is not a good engagement level. So we need to actually get the members out there to a fair reflection of Hutt City, to go out there and actually get that feedback and get that consultation, and not just have it one way and be like, we're telling you what to do. It needs to be a reciprocal, open conversation where the ears are ready to listen. And I think if we look at it, when you listen, you don't need to listen to action. You need to listen to engage, which are two different things.
Very good, very wisely spoken. What specific actions by council do you support to combat the climate crisis?
We need to look at certain frameworks. We can't just jump on stuff that our community won't necessarily want to action. There's no point in making a decision which no one's going to be on board with. I think cleaning up our rivers and our waterways is very important for us. The Hutt Valley, is known for its river, Te Awa Kairangi. But if we're not careful, we're not going to have that. Or it's not going to be even, why would we promote it in the first place? So looking at how we can clean up our river and our waterways is probably where we should be looking at first.
Yeah, number one.
Because we can't actually, we can see our environmental kind of damage on the surface level, but even looking at under the sea, like what's actually happening to our sea life, I think it's one of the 17 sustainable development goals under the water, like looking like...
Did you know what my next question was going to be?
No?
Well, I was about to hit those. I was going to say, do you know what they are? And if you do know what they are, what are you going to commit to in council to help ensure that they're adhered to? Yeah.
Oh, I do know what they are.
Yeah.
I was like,
yay! Yes. Not everybody does.
No, I do know what they are. And they are... Do you want me to explain them?
Go for it. Yes, please.
So,
yes, please.
Our sustainable development goals are... There's 17 of them. 17 exactly. And they are essentially a framework, which it's basically a quadruple bottom line model. So that means all of these pinpoints, so they cover everything from gender equality to healthy eating to environmental sustainability to water, which means like looking after the sea level and actually looking after the marine life. So it's a framework in which if we kind of look at our strategic plan and then place it next to these goals, if we align those and we say, they kind of match up, or maybe are we responding to these, and are we a direct reflection of these, then we're actually in a better place. So it's very similar to the quadruple bottom line level. So your social outcome, your financial outcome, your sustainable outcome, and your cultural ethical outcomes. So if you've left any of those four in a worse place than when you started, you haven't basically done very good business. So if we look at the 17 as a framework, as something we work next to, and not look at and just be like, oh, cool, we've looked at them, we've checked them, we kind of know what they are. If we work with them and kind of embed them into the into the strategic plan,
yes,
I think there we'll actually find some outcomes. The work's already been done. UN has, they're not just little goals.
Lofty
that you tick
ideas.
off.
Yeah. They're
So
not
they're
tick
huge
boxes.
ones.
No.
And you can find them online, and they go through each one of them, and they like talk about them. It's very, very new age.
And what I love about this is we educate ourselves. So I'm busy educating myself on what the issues are. She loves you. Oh my gosh, puppy love. If we educate ourselves, then we're going to make better decisions too. But ask people, if you're going to the Meet the Candidate events, ask that one. It's a really good question. SDCs, do you know what they are? SDGs, I don't know what SDCs are.
I
just made that
context.
up. Maybe it's about cats. I do love cats. Sustainable development cats.
Cats.
No, we're
Cat
talking
love.
about SDGs. I digress.
If you just Google it, you'll be able to find it for sure.
Yeah. So good question to ask your candidates if you want to have a go at asking a question. And if they don't know what they are, that tells you everything you kind of need to know.
Around a social context. I mean, you should know them because they don't just answer the environmental questions, it's ethical questions and it's gender equality questions. So they cover a whole...
It's a holistic approach, basically.
So it's a very well-rounded, strength-based approach.
Yes. Yeah, perfect. We should probably leave it there with one final fun question before Diva just totally takes over the sofa.
Sleep.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, so I lead worship at my church, and my go-to karaoke song would be, I think it's got to be John Legend, Ordinary People.
Nice.
Like a little bit of like slow time, like R&B, soulful.
Do you want to sing us out? I'm going to put you on the spot.
I can if you want.
Why not? That'll be fun. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Little Heart? I can see you all nodding.
Diva wants to sing.
She's not.
Do you want me to sing it?
Go for it.
A little bit.
I love it.
So I think it goes, girl, I'm in love with you. This ain't the honeymoon. We're past the infatuation phase. Right in the thick of love. At times we get sick of love. Seems like we argue every day.
I've got chills. I've really got chills. Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Joshua, for joining myself and Diva on the sofa. Thank you for watching. Tune in. Please donate to Protect Wainui Martha River on the Give a Little page, and hopefully we can protect our awa together. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in again. Ka kite, everyone.
Diva, you want to say goodbye? No. No?